So after a year's postponement, the latest Olympic Games are finally underway. And while my country's best class athletes compete against the world's top sports talent at the highest degree on the other side of the planet, I'll be playing little kids games on outdated Nintendo hardware. Fortunately for me, one very specific series helps bridge the gap between myself and Olympic gold medalists every other year using the iconic brandings of a tubby plumber and a speedy mammal. Throughout the decade before the new millennia, Super Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog represented two sides of the most infamous console war in gaming culture. By Y2K, it was clear that the man in overalls would be the last one standing, and by 2007, the two characters would join forces in an epic and groundbreaking title to partake in the 100-meter dash in Beijing. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for the Wii and DS would go on to jumpstart a consistent and lucrative sub-series, and since then, there have been 6 installments. From Sochi to London to even the current events in Tokyo, there's been a Mario and Sonic to accompany it. But there is one in particular that holds a high placement in my heart personally. One that in my opinion is the best title in the series. And that would be the very first one that took to the slopes in Vancouver in 2009's Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. Let's talk about it. Way back when, on October 13, 2009, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games was released in North America for both the Wii and the Nintendo DS. In this video, however, I'll be covering the Wii one, as it's the version I played growing up. I've heard good things about the handheld edition story mode, but all in all, the series shines the best on home console. The gist of the game, albeit still weird, is simple. It's the 21st Olympic Winter Games, you're in Vancouver, Canada, and the only beings in contention are either from the Sonic and Mario intellectual properties. Also, fun fact, this game was released before the actual Vancouver 2010 video game by a solid 3 months. Anyways, to replicate partaking in these Olympian events, much like its summer counterpart in the series debut 2 years prior, Winter Games is a collection of mini-games representing the official events. Skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, sledding. If they were doing it in Vancouver, you can do it with Waluigi. The normal winter events are a lot of fun. While it's a given that Wii motion controls are involved, the controls aren't ever too demanding for the minigame and often just make sense from a functionality standpoint. Many of the game's focus involves just simple tilting in 4 directions, if not just the A and B buttons. The events are short enough to repeat competitively, but long enough to feel satisfied by the game being full priced. On top of that, the gameplay displays polish and progress from that of its Summer Games predecessor, as the intangibles of the debut title's controls and performance just weren't ironed out yet. Luckily, the folks at the infamous Sonic team, yes, these are the results of the same developers, tapped in to deliver what I believe is the peak of the Mario and Sonic Olympic series with Winter Games. The execution of the multiplayer in the events are top-notch, with a full functional game of ice hockey to boot. The single-player mode, dubbed Festival, is a basic and practical blueprint of a story mode, something that would become a bit too convoluted in the games to follow. The village in-game is home to a fun treasure trove of Mii customization, Winter Olympic trivia, and access to tons of the themes used throughout the game. Yet, this game shines the most with the game's dream events. In a creative way to inject the personalities and iconography of the two respective franchises into the game's mundane sports, the dream events add a vibrant and cartoonish twist that dishes out a plethora of references to iconic Mario and Sonic set pieces and music. From snowboard cross at Radical Highway, to ice hockey at Bowser's Castle, to gliding at Sky Sanctuary, to ski jumping at Good Egg Galaxy, it is truly the most dynamic aspect of the game. However, when the offerings of Vancouver are put in context to the rest of the series, it becomes a lot clearer as to why it is the best of the bunch. Like I've suggested several times in the video already, the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games series is a strange and relatively short one. With 6 different games spanning the Wii, DS, Wii U, 3DS, and now the Switch, the series has had a limited chance to show major improvement in a rather constrictive formula. In the Beijing game that started the series, the game was rough around the edges. After Vancouver, London was another great installment, both in its home and handheld versions. But by the time the series reached the next generation with the Wii U, it seems as if some of the spunk of the franchise had gone missing. In the Sochi and Rio games, the controls trying to come up with a sorry excuse to utilize the pathetic Wii U gamepad was jarring and pace-breaking for much of the events that called for it. The dream events that had become the highlight of these titles were watered down to a point where it was practically removed. And as the series crossed its 10th birthday in 2017, it had become absent with no title for the 2018 Winter Games. Even I understood it at the time because I truly believed the concept had gone stale and that Sega was better off putting their efforts into other projects. Fortunately, the series had a triumphant return and a debut on the latest Nintendo console. The Tokyo rendition was honestly impressive to me. While there was nothing truly new about the minigame format of the events and much of the sports being played, the aesthetic code switching that would flip from polished 3D models to a crude mixture of 8-bit Mario and 16-bit Sonic sprites was an interesting shakeup. Nonetheless, nothing was exciting. Unfortunately, the Mario and Sonic series may be a high-profile case of a series that just has gone stale. It has had a great run and it has nothing refreshing to offer as an idea anymore. And this current direction strengthens my resolve on Vancouver being the series' peak. The approach was still fresh at that point. The motion controls were ironed out, the extra content had a fun presentation, and there was no forced story mode. There was an entire screen of dream events that were lively and charming and of great homage to these respective franchises. Back then, it felt like the game was acknowledging that this was a crossover of two very storied worlds, and they made it look cool and familiar even in the odd setting of the actual Winter Olympics. As of late, it just felt like, yup, it's that time of year again. They're going back to the Olympics in X location. Here's Bowser Jr. doing gymnastics or Wario doing figure skating. And while the series maintaining that process going forward, it's just hard to hold any high expectations or anticipation for the ones that will come to follow. Despite the ambitions of the Tokyo installment from a creative aspect, there is just an ironic lack of out-of-the-box thinking in the series overall. It would be a joy to see the return to the simplicity and fulfillment that was present in Vancouver. The Mario and Sonic series has been a unique and underappreciated facet of Nintendo's libraries of the past decade and change. It's one that I have a strange fondness for due to the memories I hold of experiencing the series growing up. However, with the current trajectory of the franchise, I can't help but to further appreciate how well everything came together in just the second game in the series. Seriously, if you're looking for some fun, simple gaming during this Olympic season, give Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games a go. Until then, take care, good game, and yeah, go Team USA. The basketball team needs it. Peace.